Today I'm going to be building, or start building the dome. Um, so what I've done is made this kind of jig out of some cardboard. So basically it's a kind of thing to kind of hold the medicine ball which I have in place, because I've got a medicine ball outside, which is over there. And basically I'm going to use the medicine ball that's going to go in that hole halfway in, and halfway out, so there'll be a hemisphere sticking out at the top of it when it's finished, and just tape it all together. And basically, the idea is to use this cardboard kind of jig to kind of support the medicine ball, or yoga ball rather, while I attempt to put the fiberglass and drape it over the dome. That's basically the idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I mean, this is probably the best way I can think of to do it. And the reason I've cut the hole is really to get it at the right diameter as well. So, the yoga ball will stick out at exactly the diameter of the required dome. So that's basically the idea. So we're going to try it in a minute and see how it looks. Okay, so here's my setup. So got my medicine ball mounted on that cardboard jig, and sitting on the dustbin for stability, so it's quite stable. It's not going to roll around and move around too much. That way I can just walk around it and basically add strips of fiberglass and general purpose resin. I've got a trough I've just quickly made out of cardboard. Basically I'm going to put the strips in the trough and with the resin, so it's all evenly distributed across the strips, and then haphazardly drape them over the dome like so until I've built up an entire layer, and that's hopefully the plan. I've also put loads of butter around the bottom here, so it doesn't stick too much to the jig. Acts like a bit of a barrier. The medicine ball itself isn't a problem because it's made of rubber, and rubber doesn't tend to stick to resin, so that's okay. So that's it. The only problem now is I'm losing light because it's like nearing 8 o'clock-ish, and just didn't have any time really today to start any earlier, and I don't know when I'll be able to do it any other time because of the unpredictability of the weather this week. I don't want to let it drag on too much, so I want to try and get a layer on tonight, and at least then I've got something to work from, and then I can build up the dome with more layers, and then put filler over the top and smooth it all off, and hopefully that should do the trick. So here goes. Okay, so I've managed to cover the entire thing in one layer of fiberglass, and then I've wrapped cellophane over the top of it to try and flatten out all the fibers, because otherwise it's going to look it's going to be very difficult to sand them down afterwards when this whole thing hardens. The weather's not helped because it has started raining, and I've had to put the canopy umbrella thing up just so I can carry on working. But there's not much more I can do tonight, I guess. I just have to let it set, and hopefully, I don't know what the next step will be. I'll have to think about it, whether I just carry on adding layers and repeat it again tomorrow or whenever it's not raining, or deflate the ball and just take it out and see how it is, and then just start putting the skim over the top, which will be I've got a tin of filler somewhere, so that will be the finish, and once that's all sanded down, hopefully I'll have a fairly respectable dome with a bit of luck. So I'm just going to leave this overnight, and hopefully it'll cure. The weather's not been great, so I don't know if it's going to cure properly or whatever. But I'll give it a prod tomorrow and see how hard it is, or leave it a few more days. I'll just see what it looks like tomorrow, I guess, and hopefully I can get the cellophane off again, because it might be a pain in the ass trying to get the cellophane off, but maybe I can burn it off or melt it off. Hopefully it'll just come off, but we'll see how it all works out. So there it is, all kind of nice and tough and set. So that's been setting overnight, or curing rather. It's made a nice shell. It's quite sturdy. I put a bit more resin on this morning, because there was a few patches where the fiberglass wasn't quite covered. Getting the cellophane off was a little bit tricky. I mean, it mostly came off, but where it tended to snag, it still kind of ended up becoming embedded in the fiberglass. But it's not the end of the world. I can work around that. The next thing, I guess, is to probably start putting a skim over it, I guess. A skim of filler. And I'll wait till the weather gets a bit better today. Hopefully the sun will come out about 1 o'clock, hopefully. And then basically deflate the ball and remove the dome from the jig, and hopefully I'll have a sturdy enough dome. I may have to put some more fiberglass on the inside, I'm not sure yet. I'll probably have a better idea once it's taken out of the jig. Maybe I should take it out of the jig first before putting the skim on. I don't know. It's a bit difficult to ascertain. It seems quite tough. I just don't want to deflate the ball and then suddenly it starts to buckle or something. I mean, it seems quite strong. It's just a little bit patchy because it was a bit of a nightmare trying to get the fiberglass on, which is what I'm saying. I probably have to put more on the inside. I don't know. I'll think about that. But anyway, that's the plan today, is to carry on working on it and just see how far I get with it before the weather turns again. Okay, so I've just been patching up some areas that looked a bit thin. Drawn them out, hence the squares. I just marked out where the thin areas are, where it's likely to be too thin and break later on. Because I want to get the skim on at some point today, and if the fiberglass isn't thick enough, it'll kind of ruin the final render. So yeah, weather's not looking too great. Can't really see it in the camera, but it's getting very cloudy. It's supposed to be sunny at 1 o'clock, so we'll see if the weatherman is right, and I'll leave this to cure for an hour or so, and then I guess I'll just start doing the render, the final skin, and then deflate the ball and see what we got. Well, there's the dome. The finish is quite horrible. I've even tried to blast off some of the cellophane that's stuck to it with my camping cooker stove thing, just to burn it off, hence all the scorch marks. It didn't really seem to take it off very well for some reason. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to try and put some filler on it and just keep working at it, and and see how it looks with some filler. Okay, so I've taken the ball out. I've basically just deflated the medicine ball. So that came out pretty easily. And now I'm left with the impression that it's put on the resin. So, which is, I don't know, I'm starting to think now that maybe I should just go the whole hog and just try to do make this the negative, and maybe just line it with some sort of barrier cream, and then apply fiberglass to that, and then try to pop it out, which means I'll have a cleaner cast of the dome. The only problem is that these rings are going to retain in whatever I do. I don't know, I'm just playing with it. It's just a very nice shiny finish, and I'm just wondering if I could just work with that. I don't know, I'm just thinking about things. Again, it's just more time and effort to do that, and it may not even work. The last time I tried to do something like this, it was a bit of a disaster, and the fiberglass pieces never separated properly. Ideally, I'd need to it's a lot of flapping around. I'd have to fiberglass a hose pipe fitting to it to inject water into the parts and then separate it, but I don't even know if that would work. But I don't know, it would make it a nice finish, certainly nicer anyway. I don't know if it's easier to do that than what I'm trying to do, which is basically sand it down and put a render on top of it, because all this is really, really rough, and I could probably do it in a day. I don't know, but I don't really have the right tools to really sand it down properly. On the other hand, the inside is quite neat, and if I try to put fiberglass inside there and attempt to make a positive cast from it, I'd have a neater dome. I don't know, it'll also be a bit smaller as well. That's the other thing, because I've already measured this to accommodate the outer skin, so I don't know, I'm thinking about stuff, and maybe I should just not worry about it too much. Okay, so I've got a layer on it. So today is Operation Sand Down. So I'm going to be trying to get rid of all these horrible dinks and donks and bits sticking out all over the surface. And it does actually look literally like the surface of the moon. And if I can't achieve a smooth surface, I may just have to rejig this as something else, like a planetoid or something else. But anyway, fortunately I have this bad boy, which is a lattice mesh. Basically that should take off the bulk of the rough surface, and then I'll just keep downgrading. I'll start with a 40 sandpaper, which is very, very rough, and work my way down to lighter grades, and I'll get the hose on it and just wet and dry the surface and try to achieve a finish that's nice and smooth. I was toying around with the idea of casting the inside, because that's pretty much ready to go. It's already a smooth surface, but I run the risk of doing it wrong, and I'd have to spend more money on gel coats and wax release agents, and you need all the proper tools to do it. So I think on this particular occasion, I think I'm just going to give it a miss and just go with plan A and just sand this mother down and hope for the best. So here goes. So I've been working on this for about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. Using my mesh sander thing, and spraying water on it like so as I'm sanding, kind of wet and sand job. And it's taken shape, but it still needs a load of work because there's just hundreds of imperfections in the surface. I don't know if you can see all that, but it's pretty grim, and they're just all over it. So now I'm going to try some of this stuff. It's a grade 40 sandpaper on a block, and I'll do the same thing again and just run it over and see if I can get it any smoother. I think there's only a point where I can reach with it where I won't be able to sand it anymore, and I'll just have to start filling again and just spray it with primer and find more holes and keep sanding, filling until the dome is reasonably smooth. So here goes. Okay, just test fitting a few bits and bobs. Such as the eye stalk, and drilled out all the holes in the dome, which took forever. None of it's been terribly straightforward. Particularly just little things like trying to cut out the hole in this plastic dish, which isn't really made of plastic. It's made of some sort of weird ceramic plastic composite, which meant that when I was trying to cut this groove, it broke a lot of my Dremel tools in the process. So it was the only reason I chose it was because it was the right shape, but it's been difficult to work with. Anyway, yeah, it's all coming together. It's more or less to spec, but not quite. I've had to cheat a few places. Use these plant pot holder things for the base of the eye. That's actually a plastic toy bowling ball. That's a foot pump, breakfast bowls, just things that are close enough to the real thing, as close as I can get it, that are off the shelf. Otherwise I'll be spending even more time trying to get these things completely accurate. So anyway, it's coming together, so a bit more work, and I'll have the mechanics kind of sorted out in the next few days.